That's the word. I don't care about clicks if it's the wrong people clicking. Oh, that's a word.
That part.
Hello and welcome to everyone who's watching the Written Melanin channel, wherever this day may have found you. I'm so glad that you are here. My name is Chelsea and I write books about Black girls who aren't all that nice. And today, you guys, I am here with Jessica Cage, and we're going to talk about something that I feel like needs to be talked about a lot more often and a lot more candidly, and that is book marketing. Because, like, let's be real, the hardest part of being a successful author is figuring out how to get people to like read your book and talk about it. So that being said, if you've never seen Jessica before, you clearly haven't been on the channel long because she's been here before several times. So go watch those videos. And for the people who have not watched the previous videos, could you please give them a brief introduction for who you are?
My name, again, is Jessica Cage. I am a USA Today bestselling author of fantasy featuring strong characters of color. I write all types of fantasy, romantasy, paranormal. My favorite thing is to take a creature and blend it with something else and see what happens. So that's what I do.
And she does it well, you guys. She does it really well. So slight plug at the beginning of this to go ahead and check out her books. And while you're there, check out my books and support Black authors all the way around. All the way around.
Wait, we're here to talk about marketing.
Hey, look how she has that book within reach. Mine are back there, just so you know. And I have a couple paperback copies here.
Let's say,
look, the marketing is real. It's real.
It is all the time.
So let's start with the big question. What is the key to effective marketing? Because I feel like anybody who comes across this video, that's the first thing that you need to know. If you don't pay attention to nothing else, the core, the heart, the key to doing this thing correctly.
I think it's more than one key. I feel like people want the one thing that makes it work, but there's a couple of things. First is understanding your art. I feel like a lot of us are creating and we don't really understand like the core value, the core reasoning behind the art. Is something that we love. There has to be something deeper. And then understanding your audience and figuring out what people align with that core message, that core reasoning of your art, right? And then figuring out how to communicate that to them. If you don't understand your message, your brand, it's hard to talk to that, and it's hard to pull people into something when you don't know how to express it to them. You know what I mean? It's kind of like what you see a lot of people doing when they use a little trope commerce, right? They're just telling you what to expect inside of this. And there are a lot of authors, myself included at one point, when it was like, what are your tropes? I'm like, what the heck are you talking about? And then you go and look it up, like, what should I be telling my readers? Because there are certain tropes that my readers won't hear about. And you look up the trope list and it's like 50,000 things on there, right?
No, that's real. That's real. Because the thing that for me, because I want everybody watching this to understand that while I may look like I got my stuff together on the surface, Jessica has herself way more together than I do. So I am also a student in this conversation. There's also the things that I'm like, okay, those resonate because those are the things that I've heard. Those are the things that I've seen for myself. And those are knowing your brand and knowing what your brand is offering your audience, and to be clear and capitalize on that. Because like you said, some people are not going to care about certain tropes. And if you're like heavy, oh, this is, enemies to lovers romance, and your fans are like, well, I came here for a thriller, so I don't know what to do with this information, you're not in alignment.
Yeah. And then it's also not promising things that your book doesn't actually give your audience. Because I feel like a lot of times, like one of my most popular books, people are like, is this why I choose? And I'm like, not specifically. It's not going to give you. Are there two men that she's like dealing with? Sure. Is it a true why I choose? Absolutely not, because that character is like, I don't want neither one of y'all. You know what I mean? So I'm not promising readers who come to me like, do you have, why choose? I'm like, no, absolutely not. But this is what I do have. You know what I mean? You want to set up the expectation and you want to deliver, on the expectation. I see there are some newbie authors, like because I do like my shared worlds, right? So I'm always looking at newbie authors because I try to pull in one or two newbies every time I do it. I've seen a couple people who have, when promoting the same book, changed up the tropes and the things that they're talking to because they see that's what's popular. But your book is not going to provide that completely. And then you're going to disappoint readers and you're going to lose return readers. So that's why I say you really do need to understand what's at the heart of your project and what is the most important thing that you want people to grasp on. And that is what you should be telling people about. Even if there is like echoes of certain things in your book, because I feel like most books, most really good books have themes and patterns from other, genres that are blended in, but that's not at the core of what that book is about, right? That's what you need to be telling people about, not like, oh, well, she did kind of look at this one guy one time, so it's a three, it's a love triangle. Like, no, it's not. Like, let's not do that. But I think that once you understand the core, and then you do find what your audience is looking for, and you have that conversation with them, that's when it all starts to work out.
Absolutely. And I will add to that because I think this is something else that I personally have run across, especially with newer authors, right? Is this idea that if I don't have everything, if I can't shoehorn my book into everything, then I'm going to miss out on the people who want to read it. And here's the thing that I think, you're hitting on very clearly as well, is that it's okay if your book is not everything. It's not going to appeal to everyone. But the thing is, you have to focus on what your book is so that the people who are looking for it can find it. But if you're, like you said, trying to shoehorn in a love triangle or a why choose or a whatever, and it's like your book isn't actually that, if you try to tell people that that is what your book is, your story is, you are going to attract those people. And it's like, great, now you have readers, but now you're going to have dissatisfied readers because it's not going to scratch that itch for them. It's not going to deliver on what you promised. And then that's also going to hurt you in the long run, because now it's like when people come across your books, they don't know if you are actually genuine and what you're telling them is in the book, and they have to take what you're saying with a grain of salt. And that's not what you want when the hardest media to market is a book. Like, that is the hardest form of entertainment to get people to read, because you have to get people to hallucinate off of dead trees. Okay. That is a hard thing to do.
Yeah. And at one point I worked with a marketer because I was like, I don't want to run Facebook ads. I just want to pay someone else to do it. And they used images that did not have anything to do with my books. They were like, girls lazily on the beach. And it's like, I understand that people like to click that, but if they click an image of like some white chick on the beach, because it was white, it was a bunch of white people. My books very specifically are focused on, so, and they started launching these ads, and I'm so happy I was paying attention, because I'm like, you have people clicking a ad that's a white girl on the beach, like it looks very romance, forward, and then they're gonna click that link and they're gonna go to this black genie on a motorcycle. Like, you're making a promise that I cannot fulfill. And they're like, well, you're getting clicks. I don't care about clicks if it's the wrong people clicking the ad. It doesn't make sense.
That's a word. I don't care about clicks if it's the wrong people clicking. Oh, that's a word.
That part. It doesn't translate to money in my pocket. I'm just spending for people to click and say, what the heck is this? And gone about their business, No.
Exactly. How do you decide when it's time to get help? Because you talked about outsourcing. So I kind of want to talk about that next.